If you found this podcast, chances are you're a high achiever and you're successful. But now you're stuck and stressed, and you realize that everything you've created hasn't given you the fulfillment and the joy you thought it would. This is where we discuss the keys of high performance mindset and stepping into the next best version of yourself. Welcome to the Positive Persistence Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Positive Persistence Podcast, where we bring you stories to inspire you and strategies to help you tap into your potential and become your best self. Today, we're joined by the amazing Dr. Josiane Bonte. She is a family and systems researcher and practitioner, published academic author, international speaker with a laundry list of credentials that includes a PhD in marriage and family therapy. And with over 22 years of professional experience, Dr. Josiane has extended her multidimensional healing role as a light worker, helping vulnerable populations as well as the mental health professionals around the world to balance and harmonize their body, their mind, and their spirit with the art and science of compassionate love. She believes that compassionate love changes everything. Dr. Josiane, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ian, for this gracious intro. I love it. And with your smile, nothing can go wrong, okay?
Love that. Yes. Well, so one of the things that drew me to you the first time that we interacted was your energy. I remember like the last time we spoke, I said, I felt like it was coming through the screen. And it's emitting right now, and I love that. And I think that you have such a beautiful soul, and you are truly what I call one of the soldiers in the army of the light, because you bring it with you wherever you go. And I'm hoping, I know that we're going to uncover some pearls of wisdom for our listeners and our viewers with this episode. I want to dive right in and open things up with one of your quotes. And it's about, in our extraordinary times, humans are asked to remember and activate their extraordinary gift of compassionate love and become the forces of good for the well-being of all. So a couple of things I want to unpack. Like, number one, what is compassionate love? Why is it important? And when you say for the well-being of all, are you speaking of like the planet?
Yes. I'm talking about humanity in general. All and not only in humanity, but also all living systems, meaning animal, the nature, the trees, the plants, every single living systems.
Mm-hmm.
So we are built with a special chromosome 2. And some scientists have noticed that actually it's the chromosome of compassion and love. And by pure, of course, there's no coincidences, but it was really random. When I started searching, when I was doing my PhD, I started searching about couples and love in general. And I saw different type of love, and I found compassionate love. And I say, compassionate love, what is this about? And I was so curious because everybody know about romantic love, companionate love, and agape, which is altruistic love. But compassionate love, I was really intrigued. So what happened once I started my research, they were saying that some scientists got together and invited many political leaders, economists, philosophers, religious leaders also together to kind of brainstorm and to tell these scientists what do they think that was missing on Earth. And some people agreed that it was missing a lot of love. And others did not agree and felt that it was missing compassion. So there was like some cleanse, like almost. And then they decided that actually, both sides were right. We needed more of compassionate love. And it's just, you won't believe it, but maybe 2-3 years ago, I took a workshop with, it was Swedish, I forgot somewhere, but he wrote about compassionate love, but in a little book that I don't have here, but it says that was the formula. And when I wrote my own book, I said it was the formula. But I didn't know it was really the formula. But it just happened that it was confirmed again and again that we humans are built with this compassionate love trait that allows us to care for the other. So in short, compassionate love means that special type of love for the other, for the good of the other. You want the good of the other. That could be, they actually created this word, this definition for humanity at the beginning. I'm one of the rare ones in science who is using it for couples and for humanity in general, because I see couples at the top of the pyramid in society. And I believe they're the ones with it's like the model, the perfect model that we were built. We were meant to be, not only at the pyramid, at the apex for our families, but for actually organizations, for work, for the nations, for the world, basically. When they got together and I said, okay, so it's missing compassionate love. So they took what was already out there, and religious leaders said, "Oh, we have compassion in our and love in our ancient books, and it's so difficult to reach it." And that's how I was thinking, well, why is it so difficult? What happened is we believe that when we experiencing some problems with others, we either hold grudges, we want a revenge or something, or we want to be right. So being right is more important than being happy. And that gets us entangled. And we don't understand what exactly is happening besides just being in conflict and not really having an harmonious relationship with the person, whoever that is. Okay. It could be intimate relationship or even with a stranger that, let's say, somebody is driving and passing in front of you and then you want to show in your middle finger or something instead of just chill,
Yeah.
relax.
Right. Right.
Yes. So what is happening is we were wired biologically. So it's not about philosophy. Our biology is wired to love. But we no nowhere, not in school, not in church, we are taught, hey, you are made of love. Nowhere on earth right now it says that, except probably in ancient textbooks, texts, and somewhere maybe in Egypt on the hieroglyphs or somewhere it says that. But we lost this knowledge, this wisdom. So when I discovered that it was so important, but I didn't know how important it was. And I used it with couples, and it just happened that it was confirmed to me by two other mystics. My own Qigong master, Mentak Shia, who use it, healing love. So he used healing love, and in healing love, anybody can take his workshops. He says that when you make love, actually, you are entering. It's almost as if you're entering a state of connection, communion with God, with your companion, whomever that is, but you're entering a spatial area or space that is sacred. But you need to have, so not only to have the desire, you need to have the compassion and the love in order to get there. So a lot of times, in my book, I call it, we have genital sex, which is like okay, let's
Yeah.
relieve ourselves. We know it's part of who we
Right.
are.
It's just for the physical sensation, and that's it.
Exactly.
Right.
I hope it's PG-13. It's not PG-13.
Yeah. That's okay. We know what we're talking
Okay,
about.
okay. Well, because it's part of what it is. It's not only so it's in science it was differentiate. There was a differentiation between sexuality, spirituality, and science. But they're all part of the same thing. They're all one. We are a state of the art technology. And everybody's built inside with that compassionate love chromosome, which allows us to really go beyond what we think we can do or be, especially be. When to go back to just imagine this moment of intimacy, like physical intimacy, it allows you to go to like to remove all boundaries and to open up a space that is really sacred and that allows you sometimes to heal from your traumas, to heal from past life, to heal from whatever's going on in your physical body. uh, so there's books about that. There's a lot of not only books. There's research that have been done. It's all in my book. This one, compassionate love in intimate relationships, the integration process of sexual mass trauma, racism, and resilience, which basically tells every single human being that the way we are built is not random. It's not casual. We believe, we might feel that we ordinary, but we are actually extraordinary once we tap into this way of being, which is wanting the good of the other. Even if somebody insults you, don't respond.
If I'm understanding, because at first you were talking about compassionate love, I'm thinking, okay, that is kind of like, a mother's love for a child, that they have compassion, they have understanding. But what you're talking about is having this compassion, this understanding, this ability to see others for who they are in whatever they're going through, however they're going through it in their situation, and still having respect for that individual in that moment, in that space, and showing compassion for that person in terms of like, I see you, I see what you're going through, I understand you. I'm going to show you love because I understand that you're dealing with,
You're going,
you're going
yeah.
through it. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it really goes beyond. So like in my book and the one that I'm writing right now, it's loving beyond. That means you're going to see a reality that we can judge as negative or as we can attribute some type of a negative connotation, we're going to say, right? And and then we're not going to see the spark of the divine in that person. That there's something else besides what they're doing that's annoying or that's really getting you upset. There is something in that person, and you have to see it when they don't see it in order for them to remember who they are through your eyes. Because it takes two or more to really awaken that special ability.
So okay, you just said something that's very interesting to me. You said they have to remember who they are through our eyes.
Yes, that means that usually when you look at yourself in a mirror, you see yourself, but you don't really see, let's say, the qualities. And when I say qualities, it could be positive or negative. We just judge them negative, some of them, but they're all good because when we need them, we need to be harsh. We need to protect ourselves. We need to have boundaries. We need to have certain things. And when you don't have them, you get in trouble. And then you're wondering, why is this happening to me? Because There's an underlying commitment not to see who you are, like the shadow self. We all have a shadow side and a light side. And we might prefer just the light side. But the shadow side is very helpful. So we have to love it. We have to, most of the time, we might idealize a person or put them on a pedestal without knowing that if we can see it, that means we have that part also in us, in ourselves.
Yes. So if you spot it, you got it. This is what I've
Yes,
heard.
if you
Yes.
spot it, you got it.
Yes, I've heard
Whatever
that.
you call, if you call somebody bad things, you got it too. If
Hmm.
you call somebody a good thing, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you got it too.
Right.
That is the law. Yes.
Is it important to love our shadow side because it's also part of us? And if we neglect that part or spite that part, then we're actually spiting ourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
It's so vital. And especially right now, all that we're seeing in the collective
Mhm.
is a lot of projection, like people or nations projecting into
Okay.
others
So just
the
to be clear, when you
some
say collective, you're talking about the planet, the earth,
the
humanity.
planet, right? So we're seeing a lot of commotion, a lot of influences, the weather, even the planet Earth itself.
Hmm.
She's responding to our own energy, which is kind of not stable right now,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
say the least, right? Not to say that it's
Yeah.
totally negative. It's just a lot of um a lot of us are not in a right place, seeing that they can change what's happening out there, let's say in Gaza or in Ukraine or wherever, Africa, wherever there's any, or the United States, you know, wherever there's some type of conflict, the more we look at it as a conflict, the more it expands.
So what you're saying is the more, and I'm asking these questions just because
Yes, you have to clarify. I love it.
because
Yes,
I believe wholeheartedly in energy, vibration, frequency, and we've had this
yes,
conversation before a little bit on.
yes.
Just for our listeners and our viewers, what you're saying is that here I am sitting in Northwest Indiana, but my emotional connection, my thoughts about what I am seeing on TV or seeing online, and then actually mirroring those negative emotions or negative vibrations that are coming from that content, I'm actually helping to perpetuate that same situation.
That's it. Yes. So that's what I call we have to do spiritual diet. Being very mindful of what you're listening, watching, reading, the people you're around, because we are energy, right? So that energy of compassionate love can expand only if you're first aware of it, right? You have to be aware of it and you have to assess. So let's say somebody is like, how can I be aware of it? I'm homeless, or I'm missing a leg, or some type of struggle that they're going through. So in as long as you're living, you're breathing, you have the same power as anybody else with two legs, two arms, whatever. With you have the same power, if not more, because your condition is not your destiny. You have the ability to awaken this compassionate love for yourself, which is going to help your family around you, your friends around you, your coworkers, and everyone beyond. So that's why I think I'm going to get with that title, Loving Beyond, because I love it. It's loving beyond the reality. We create our own reality. So the mess that's out there, we did that. Okay. Unfortunately, we did that, all of us. So we don't need to blame, anybody. We all, you know, got collectively agreeing by fear, by anxiety, whatever it is, we agree to that.
Mhm.
Now we have to awaken what's in us to transform it.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into that, because I know that like some of the work that you do, you focus on like the multi-generational impact of trauma and
Yes.
resilience. So how can individuals begin to identify and heal the patterns of trauma so they can awaken that process to tap into their full potential? You use an example of, let's say that you have one leg or you're homeless, or for me personally, waking up from surgery, being paralyzed from the chest down. How do you help that individual that has dealt with that trauma, and that how do they start to, I guess, unpack that or begin to tap into that potential for growth?
I love it. Your question is really important because it's what is the beginning. You have to assess. You have to discover or rediscover yourself. We are right now in a world, some call it matrix. We are in together in this third dimension for a reason. We all kind of chosen to be right now on Earth, not because we're not going to have any issues or any challenges. On the contrary, we knew that we were going to have to go through obstacles in order to remember who we are, loving beings. So, what is happening when we are not aware of when we're not whole yet? That means we have projected parts of ourselves into others, or we might have repressed them, disowned them from our consciousness. We say in French conscience, which means conscious mind. But now it's all about consciousness. So some people might find it, well, what does it mean? It means it's really your mind from your awareness. That's what it means. Being aware saves. So it's not time to put things under the rug. Not at all. Take it out and look in order to discover some qualities of yourself that are hidden or repressed, you ask just that question. Let's say you're acting out and like you starting really getting me upset. And then I'm going to ask, what type of person will do that? Like I did with my husband, my ex. I was like, he's acting, he's so, and the word was selfish. So that was the quality I didn't want to do. But imagine that quality once I discovered it. So I revealed it to my awareness, to my conscious mind by asking what type of person will do what he did today. He was just selfish. So it could be any type of qualities that you don't like. You can even ask yourself, what are the three qualities that you hate the most? And you take the ones that really, if anybody says that to you, you want to punch them. Okay. Then that's the quality you have to accept and then look. In order to own it, you need to look, when did I act like that? And then if you haven't yet, which is very rare, but if depending on, let's say, how much insight you might have about yourself, because a lot of us are not honest with ourselves. We lie to ourselves. Okay. Okay. A lot. We are, okay, mastermind of doing that. So in order to be honest, that's why it's easier to see everything with others, but not with us. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So then we have to unveil lift the veil in order to see, oh, okay, I'm like that too. So what happened is, I give you an example with me. So my ex was acting out and I said, what type of person will do that? And when I was, okay, selfish. Then what happened next? I had to say, okay, I'm selfish. I'm selfish. Yeah, I'm selfish. My three sons were in transition. One was going to law school, the other one was going to college, and the other one was going to high school. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm selfish. I'm like, who cares about this family? I just want a divorce, okay? And then so what happened is I changed, I paused for a second, I breathe, and then I'm like, okay, so this quality, I really don't like it. I don't want anybody to call me selfish, but I need it. So what I did, I owned it by looking at myself and saying, what's wrong with being selfish? It helps me have boundaries and not overlove. I was overloving and just dismissing what I had in front of my eyes. And I didn't have any boundaries in a way because I didn't, well, even a friend of mine said, you have no self-respect, okay? I was like, and it was true. It was true and not true. But once you overextend, okay, people might understand. I'm thinking about your audience. They might be confused about when I say you need to really activate this compassionate love. Yes, but it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice yourself because the contrary of sacrifice is having compassion for yourself. Okay, which it's hard to have most of the time. We can have compassion with everybody, but if we're so hard on ourselves, we are like our worst enemies. So you need to have that compassion and love for yourself in order to really see, okay, yeah, I can be selfish and take care of myself. And what I did, I say, okay, instead of investing in divorcing right now, maybe I'm going to divorce later, but let me invest in myself. So I got into this coaching program and I learned this shadow work in order to understand myself better because it takes two to tango. And it doesn't matter. So divorce will be the extreme, right? But let's say you're having just a fight, you're going to point at the person with one finger, but the other fingers are pointing at yourself and you're not seeing that, right? So you have to be aware that, okay, that's his part, but what is my part? Or what that's her part, but what is my part in the equation in order to be balance and really go back to a state of harmony, or what we call in family system homeostasis. You want homeostasis.
Where everything is equal. Yeah.
Exactly.
This also work then for people who feel like they're the victim. And what I mean by that is individuals who find themselves saying that life never works out for me, I'm unlucky, or I'm never going to be able to achieve XYZ, or I'm not good enough. Is it not always because of the situation or the people or the organizations that are holding them down or holding them back? But it's also that they need to hold up a mirror and see that they also have a part in holding themselves in the same position.
Definitely. And also what's happening is in the effects of trauma will make you have a heavy burden on seeing the true you, when you're traumatized, let's say by racism or any type of thing, social. So sometimes the ones that feel like victims have the burden on them and they don't see any way out. So the only way out is not outside, it's within. So you have to go back inside to say, okay, the outside is a way that I don't like. Whatever it is happening outside is also a reflection of what's happening inside. So you need to have enough honesty, authenticity, and acceptance of who you are to start with something that you can work with. Otherwise you're going to dismiss things and say, no, you lie. But if you can see their lie, you probably lie too. Okay.
It's time to ask yourself, when was the last time you prioritized you? Did you know that research shows that nearly 85% of high performers struggle to maintain a performance mindset while juggling the demands of work and personal life? Those who actively prioritize their performance mindset and personal growth are 30% more likely to achieve their goals in business and life. If you're feeling crippling stress and anxiety, or if you're feeling guilty when you take a moment for yourself, or if you're stuck in the grind and feeling burnt out, you're not alone. Many of us yearn for more, but struggle with the fear of being judged or feeling selfish. And you want to step into the next best version of yourself. That's why I created the Rinse Method, which got me from paraplegic to marathon runner. Backed by science-based proven strategies and now customized for high performers like you. If you're stuck and stressed and want clear steps that you can implement today to move forward, make sure you visit thepositivepersistence.com to download our free Rinse PDF. Right. So what you're saying is that your external circumstances are not going to change until your internal circumstances begin to change.
Exactly. And in order for them to change, you need to accept this quality that you send away back into you in order to be whole. So we need integration. It's like Dan Siegel wrote about aware and talking about is a neurobiologist, so and psychiatrist, and he was talking about the brain, the two hemispheres, right, the right and the left, they need integration. But when you're too rigid, meaning you don't see the truth, you're not authentic, you're lying to yourself, that's being rigid, will get you off balance, off track, and the path is whatever you want it to be. So once you uncover this quality or those qualities that you're disowned, and you see, if you don't see when you use it in the past, you can see how it can be useful. Like I realize being selfish is actually useful, because instead of lacking respect for myself and betraying myself, I can love myself again and take care of myself instead of counting on somebody else to make me happy, which is most people are. That's what we call the type of love that's like the base, the foundation. But we want higher love. We don't want low love. We want the higher type of love. We want compassionate love for ourselves. So once we uncover that quality and we see how it's useful to us, then we can own it and integrate it. And that's the work that every single person can do, which is shadow work. It's just, there's a lot, there's not, anybody can take a paper and write all the things that they like about themselves, or all the things that they like about somebody else, and all the things they don't like about themselves, and all the things that they don't like about somebody else. The qualities are key to integration and to having more compassion for the others. Okay. That's what's going to help us change our reality by really starting owning who we are. And in order to really love, even, okay, well, I lied. Okay, that's okay. It's like going for an interview anywhere. If you say you don't lie, you're a liar. Okay. I don't care who you are.
Right.
If you say you never lie, one of the questions is like, never lie, a little, a lot, or whatever it is. And you say, I never lie. But no, that's not true.
Right.
That's a lie. You just lie.
Mhm.
So those psychological tests are there for a reason. They're trying to detect if somebody can really, we can count on the authenticity of the person, and can be a team player, you know, when things are going, when you do work with a team. So it's really important. So the compassionate love is, it looks like it's for me, it's not difficult, it's fun to do. It's a fun act to discover, oh wow, oh, when was I a bitch? When was I mean? When was I this? When was I? And then you say, oh yeah, I think I did that. I think I was like that. And then just honor it. love it. Put it inside your heart in order to be whole. Because every time we're not whole, we're going to count on somebody else to bring us what we want, to be codependent. And it's really, you want to reclaim your sovereignty. You want to reclaim your sovereignty. Every single being is a sovereign being, is a sovereign, loving.
And what you're saying is you don't want to have to, or what I hear you saying is you don't want to have to count on somebody else for your happiness or to help you feel whole or to help you feel like you. Yeah.
Yes. And that's why so many people divorce too fast sometimes. I waited a long time. I waited 39 years before I divorced. But so
No,
that
I'm right there with you, Dr. Josiane. I was 25 years before I got divorced.
okay.
It was
So
too
I
long.
know it was well thought. Well,
Yeah, it should have happened sooner, but that's a whole nother story.
yes. Yes,
But I
that's
also
another story.
want to talk to you about something. I kind of want to circle back to when you mentioned when someone deals with trauma,
Yes.
and they have that negativity kind of pushing down on them. They have a hard time sometimes moving forward from that trauma, moving forward in their lives, or trying to get out of that negative space. Also, another side of dealing with trauma, and it's something that you actually taught me about in a conversation that we had prior to this, and that is post-traumatic growth. Hoping you could unpack that a little bit for us too, because when you said that term shocked me. Like I never heard that before, and I never thought that that was actually a thing. Because usually when you hear trauma, you equate that to something negative and something that's going to maybe stunt someone's growth. But you were talking about traumatic growth.
Yes. Post traumatic growth is what happens when actually we experience something, right? And trauma could be anything because giving birth could be traumatic for somebody and it's not for millions of others. So trauma is very subjective and we're not there to judge. Okay? And somebody can go through torture and somebody else will go through the same thing and say, oh, piece of cake. Right? So we have to understand that trauma is very subjective, but everybody is going to go through some type of trauma at one point in their lives. That's science. Most people recover. Some don't. And the maybe 1% or 2% that really go beyond and experience post-traumatic growth are the ones who don't go back to the way they used to be. They actually thrive. They go beyond. They move forward and grow really in a spectacular, extraordinary way because they have what they call a grounded hope. That means they're looking at their situation. Yes, that's part of the post traumatic growth. So they're looking at their situation, but they're not looking at it as worse. They're looking at their situation and say, okay, what works right now? What's going on? Well, I'm breathing. Okay, that person tried to kill me, but okay, I'm still alive. And so they're grounded hope. They're not denying their distress or their situation or trauma. They're not denying that. They're saying it, but they're not just ruminating over it. They're looking at it and they're in that same instance, they're telling themselves what works right now. So you need some life affirming situation in the moment that you are in pain, in the moment that you've been screwed by I don't know how many people, in the moment that you're losing your job, you're losing your wife, you're losing a leg or whatever, in the moment of distress, you have to tap into your heart to know that this heart is a state of the art. If we're looking at the multiverse, we're not even talking about universe anymore. It's multiverse, okay? It's the state of the art biology that allows you to go beyond what you think was possible. And I'm going to give you another example of I had the case of 18-year-old young a youth, a black youth who was in probation because he followed his friends and he got in trouble. And one day his mom calls me, and he had never been diagnosed with any type of disorder before that, but I suspected there was something going on. And the mom calls me and says, "Oh, Dr. Josiane, come right now. He's about to kill me. Come right now." And I'm going to take a fictitious name, Roy. Roy is about to kill me. He has a knife under my throat. The mom was 6'4", mind you, maybe 300 pounds. And the son, as tall as she was, and a little bigger. It was like 6:30 in the morning. I took my car. I got there and I asked him, "What is it that you want?" "I don't want to go to school right now." I said, "You're not going to school?" "Okay, you got it. You're not going to school." He was going into a what we call a psychotic episode. And he heard that if he was going to school, he was going to die. But the mom didn't ask him the question that will make her understand that, of course, she was not a professional, but he felt that he was going to die. And most people think when they feel paralyzed, it could be physically or emotionally or spiritually or psychologically, they feel paralyzed. They feel like I remember if I divorce, I'm going to die because I don't know. I've done everything for 39 years with my ex. Where where am I going? Right? So that keeps you stuck. That fear is an illusion. So he was about to kill his mom. I got there. I said, "Please do not call the cops. They're not going to be able to have that much compassionate love for your son as I do." Okay. She said, "Okay." But she was terrified. I got there and I said, "Okay, you don't want to go to school. You are not going to school. I'm going to take you." And we need to have, that's what I told him. We're going to have, we need an excuse for you so we need to go see the doctor in order for you to have an excuse to go back to school. And he loved the idea. I said, "Okay." So yeah, you might stay. I don't know how long, how many days you're going to stay. Maybe what, 24 hours, 48. He stayed a week in the hospital. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, paranoia, paranoia. So the mom was safe, but he was in a moment of not understanding himself. He was not seeing more than he knew he didn't want to go. And his in own mind, he felt, you know, there was, he was going to die. "I'm going to kill you if you force me going where I don't want to be." So the mom realized what was going on afterwards once I explained to her. And then she didn't have at that time. All she cared was to follow the rules. "If I don't take you to school, I'm going to be penalized because you're in age to be in school." And sometimes we have to put our hearts down, whatever identity, whatever, to just attend to the moment, to the present moment. That's why sometimes we are mean, sometimes we are nice and kind, sometimes we're good, sometimes we're evil. We need to know all of it and accept all of who we are in order to make a difference in the present moment.
Which is why compassionate love for ourselves is so important.
It's key.
Okay.
It's key. Yeah,
Wow.
not to judge ourselves.
Yeah.
If we judge ourselves, we allow the evolution of our soul. We cannot grow. We cannot grow if we don't accept every single part with compassion and love. We just cannot grow. We have to accept our mistakes. We have to love them. And really, I think it's Mel Robbins. She says, let them. No, I say, love them. Love people and love things, everything that's in your life. And everything changes because compassionate love changes everything. It changes the way that abundance is coming to you. And when you think you felt you were doomed, like I felt I was doomed, I was going to die if I divorced, and then everything came in a magical way.
Mhm. Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
magical way. So you have to be open to discovering every day another part of yourself in
Good
order
or
not
bad.
to judge others.
Good
Sorry?
or bad.
Good or bad?
Mhm.
Good and bad.
And yeah, all of it.
Yeah, because we are in a third dimension, we're always going to see the bad before the good. Okay, we have just to be honest about that. We're going to see, and we're going to be obsessed maybe, like a lot of my mom is 19 years old and she's in France and she's panicking with what's going on in the world, the natural disasters, the human-made disasters. And I have to comfort her and tell her, stop watching the news because it's going to get you more anxious. But then she thinks she's not anxious when sometimes she's just screaming and out of her lungs, and then gets really anxious because she's not aware. But how can you tell that to a 90-year-old, right? So there's hope for us, all of us. Just do it before 90, please.
Yes. Get it
Before.
done now. Get it done now.
Yes, do it now.
Yeah.
It's a service to ourselves. It's a service to all people, our family members who are around us and friends and co-workers. And it's a service to humanity. Every single person who's taking care of themselves, like, and you cannot count on your wife to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy first. You have to deal with every single qualities that exist on earth, that the divine, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, has for us, and integrate them. It's a must. And that is the key, because the compassionate love. So I forgot to mention, once we see the different parts of ourselves, we are able to create. So it's almost a, a shield. It's an armor against evil. Whatever. So let's say you're running, and then something, you're holding some books or whatever, and then you fall. Instead of breaking your leg, you come back with nothing because you've been compassionately loving. That's how important it is. So when we cry, okay, just cry. It's good to cry. I'm not going to say not cry because I love to cry. I have to force myself to cry sometimes because I'm laughing too much. So so I enjoy crying. But don't cry the whole day. Don't cry the whole day. Try to, even this is what we call in I'm a strategic therapist. And Tony Robbins' business partner, Chloe Madanes, is one of my mentors. And she has a paradoxical intervention. And she says to people, okay, you want to cry? I give you an hour to cry. Go ahead. People don't want to cry. When you try to do things on command, it doesn't come out. So that's why you can get yourself in a better place. And why don't you just go straight to what you really want instead of staying at what you would call a baseline that is lower than your true essence, your true nature. It's lower. You want to cry? Okay, cry. And then go on with life. Go on, love yourself with compassion, you know, and, and everyone around. When you do that, it's miracles after miracles. I promise you. I promise any person of your audience, if they do that and they tell us it doesn't work, that's a lie.
There it is. Those are the steps. Dr. Josie, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And I know that our listeners and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, because our listeners and viewers are going to have so much to unpack from this episode. We covered so much. And it's interestingly, as you listen, these things that we're talking about that you are illuminating for us are simple, but they're not easy.
They're
So
simple and not easy.
yeah.
And that's what is important to know.
Mhm.
Simplicity in your life will save you.
Yeah.
When we are complex and complicated, and we complicate life, once you unpack and you see, oh, okay, I can do that. Okay, all the parts I don't love in, let's say, my partner or whoever, it's actually a reflection of me. No, 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 no. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then once you like them, then it allows you to breathe and and understand. Okay, I know what is acting like that. I've been there, so you have more compassion for the person because you've been there.
You have so much knowledge and experience. Where can our listeners and viewers find out more about you, more about Compassionate Love, find more about your book?
Yes. So it's on Amazon. And so this one is for institutions like universities, colleges. So it's very academic. I'm writing right now the next one for everybody, for the public. So I'm in the process of doing that, and hopefully it's coming soon. They can join me. From my website, josianebonte.com.
Well, we'll make sure we put that that link in the show notes for everyone to grab so they can find out more about you and contact you. And if they have more questions about anything that we covered today and about compassionate.
When you look up compassionate love, make sure you look for the scientific one, because a lot of different churches took it back because they know it's important now. So they have it, but look for the scientific, just to give you a sense that, okay, I don't know who really believes or not or doesn't, but it's in our biology. That's what I want, your audience to remember.
Yeah, it's
It's
already in
in
us.
our biology. It's real. It's true gems that's in us, that you don't have to go to get a facelift or Botox or whatever. No, it's inside of you. Already it's there. Just let it unfold, just like a lotus that's opening, and then collect all the compassion and love in your life
I love
and
that.
the miracles.
That is amazing. Well, thank you again for joining us today. And I want to thank all of our listeners and all of our viewers for tuning in. And as always, as we end our episodes, remember to stay positive, stay persistent, and know that mindset is everything. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in and being part of the Positive Persistence family. We're having a great time creating this content, and we truly hope it inspires you to embrace positivity and persistence in your own journey. If this podcast episode inspired you or entertained you, scroll down, hit those stars, and leave a comment or two. Your 5-star reviews and shares encourage us and help us grow the show. So until next time, stay positive, stay persistent, and remember, mindset is everything.